pathogens. This is one of the most important topic which I am going to share with you today. And you have to make sure that wherever your employees are working, whether in a health sector or medical sector or any clinic, whether they are working in construction or any other industries, you have the moral obligation, health and financial obligation that you have to protect your employees from bloodborne pathogens. And this could be very serious also. So there are the legal requirements also that we have to follow regarding bloodborne pathogens. So before we start our training, I would like to request that please do not forget to subscribe my channel, like my videos, and please do share with your friends and colleagues also. And please do not forget to press the bell icon so you will never miss out the training information which I am sharing on timely basis. So let's start our training related to the bloodborne pathogens. So what are bloodborne pathogens? Bloodborne pathogens are microorganisms such as viruses or bacteria that are carried in blood and can cause disease in people. So there are mainly two types of microorganisms, which is viruses and bacteria. These are the two microorganisms which can cause bloodborne pathogens. Now the types of bloodborne pathogens. Bloodborne pathogens may include malaria, syphilis, and brucellosis, hepatitis B, and HIV. So these are the bloodborne pathogens that can cause disease in our employees and ourselves also. Of more concern of workplaces are hepatitis B, hepatitis C, and HIV. These are the more dangerous viruses that can cause even death also to the people. Hepatitis B is a virus that causes infection and inflammation of the liver. So it will affect on the liver, is transmitted primarily through blood to blood contact, can lead to serious conditions such as cirrhosis, liver cancers, and can survive in dried blood for up to 7 days. So if you are in contact with any blood, and even that blood is dried also, and that blood is already infected, and you are in contact with that blood, even after 7 days also, that has the chances that that can infect you also. So this is related to the hepatitis B. No cure for hepatitis B. There is no cure for a specific treatment for hepatitis. Many people develop antibodies to fight the disease, which may prevent future infection. Hepatitis symptoms are mild flu-like symptoms, fatigue, possible stomach pain, loss of appetite. You will not feel any hungerness, nausea, jaundice, and darkened urine. Your urine color will start to dark. And hepatitis B be prevented? Yes. Vaccination is there which can prevent the hepatitis B. If you have never had hepatitis B, you can get 3 shots and get long lasting protection. So you can get the vaccination and that vaccination can protect you lasting. So first dose, second dose, and third dose. These 3 doses you can use it. Vaccination. Hepatitis B vaccination, employees who have been determined to have potential exposure to bloodborne pathogens, class 1 and class 2, and CSV, OSB exposure control plan shall be offered the hepatitis B vaccines series at no cost to themselves unless they have previously received the vaccine series, antibody testing has revealed they are immune, the vaccine is contraindicated for medical reasons, and in these cases, they need not be offered the series. So these are the hepatitis B vaccination related requirements. Vaccination process. So what are the vaccination process? Series of 3 shots, 1, 2, and 3 that you need to take. Second shot is given 1 month after the first. The third shot follows the 5 months after the second. And this series gradually build up the body's immune to the hepatitis B viruses. So whenever you will start to take the 3 shots, after first shot there is a 1 month gap, and after second shot there is a 5 months gap. And why the gaps are giving? Gaps are giving because your immune system will start to build up the antibodies that will fight against the hepatitis B viruses. What is hepatitis C? Hepatitis C is a disease of the liver caused by the hepatitis C virus. Hepatitis C virus is spread by contact with the blood of an infected person. You may be at risk of hepatitis C if you were notified that you received blood from a donor who later tested positive for hepatitis C. If you receive any blood from any person who is already contaminated and who is already positive for the hepatitis C, then you are also positive. Have ever injected illegal drugs? If you're taking any illegal drugs, even if you experimented a few times many years ago, then there are high chances that you can be positive for the hepatitis C virus. Received a blood transfusion or solid organ transplant before July 1992. Received a blood product for clotting problems produced before 1987. Have ever been on a long-term kidney dialysis. So there are high chances that you are positive for hepatitis C viruses. Have evidence of liver disease, example, persistently abnormal ALT levels. Now, after that, we have the HIV, immunodeficiency. So, AIDS are acquired immune deficiency syndrome. It is a disease caused by a virus called the human immunodeficiency virus, or HIV, we are calling it. Maybe many years before AIDS actually developed. HIV attacks the body immune system. So our immune system is the main part which will fight against the viruses and the any disease or any bacteria. Weakening it so that it cannot fight other deadly disease. AIDS is a fatal disease, and while treatment for its improving, there is no known cure. So there is no cure till now. HIV and direct contact. The HIV virus is a very fragile and will not survive very long outside of the human body. It is primarily of the concern to employees providing first aid or medical care in situations involving fresh blood or other potentially infectious materials. What are the symptoms of HIV? The symptoms of HIVs are weaknesses, fever, sore throat, nausea, headaches, diarrhea, white coating on the tongue, and weight loss and swollen lymph glands. So these are the symptoms of HIV. Pathogen transmission, how they transfer. Bloodborne pathogens are transmitted through the contact with infected human blood and other body fluids such as. So you can see that there is not only the blood, there are other factors also which can transfer the bloodborne pathogens like semen, vaginal secretions, cerebrospinal fluid, synovial fluid, pleural fluid, and peritoneal fluid, and amniotic fluid, and saliva with visible blood in dental setting. So these are the things can transfer the bloodborne pathogen. Skin provides a barrier. So skin is a major protection that will provide a barrier to any disease that will not enter directly in our body. Unbroken skin forms an impervious barrier against bloodborne pathogens. However, infected blood can enter your system through the open source. If there is open source, if there is any cuts on your body, abrasions, acne, any sort of damage or broken skin such as sunburn or blisters. So these are the things have the major chances that these bloodborne pathogens can enter your body through these areas. Mucous membranes. Pathogens may also be transmitted through the mucous membranes of the eyes. So through the eyes also, they will transfer through the nose also, and through the mouth also, they can enter inside your body. So signs and labels. If you are working in any areas where there is a bloodborne pathogens and even you are providing the first aid also, even that time also you are handling any waste and any requirements is there that the sign and label you need to place. Warning labels must be placed on containers of regulated waste such as medical waste, refrigerators, and freezers containing blood or other potentially infectious material. The signs and labels should be there. And other containers used to store, transport, or ship blood or other potentially infectious material, the signs need to be there, like biohazards and certain other labels should be there. What's regulated waste? Any liquid or semi-liquid blood or other potentially infectious material called regulated waste. Contaminated items that would release blood or other potentially infectious material in a liquid or semi-liquid state if compressed. So that is a regulated waste also. Regulated waste is that are packed with dried blood or other potentially infectious material. So these are the regulated waste. Now the emergencies, how to deal with the emergency. In an emergency situation, always use universal precautions. To minimize exposure, only knowledgeable persons should respond wearing appropriate PPE such as whenever you are treating any people, whenever you are providing any first aid, first of all, protect yourself by wearing gloves, by wearing the face mask and wearing such as other protection. You can use the goggles also to avoid any uh, body fluid or any blood particle go inside your mucous membrane. By wearing the gloves plus goggles, pocket mouth to mouth resuscitation whenever you are giving the CPR and other barrier devices that you need to use. If you are exposed to any bloodborne pathogens, wash the exposed area thoroughly with soap and running water. Use non-abrasive antibacterial soap. Flush mouth, nose, eyes for 15 minutes if blood is splashed in mucous membranes. Actions if exposed. Report exposure to your supervisor. Fill out an exposure report form. Request confidential evaluation with your physician. Protection that we have to use. Personal protective equipment, as we said that we need to use. The best protection against exposure is to ensure wearing the appropriate PPE. To protect yourself, it is essential to have a barrier between you and the potentially infectious material. Now, these are the rules to follow. Treat all blood or potentially infectious body fluids as if they are contaminated. Sorry. Always wear personal PPE equipment in exposure situations. Replace PPE that is torn or punctured. Restore practice to safe practices to follow. Replace PPE that is torn or punctured. Remove PPE before leaving the work area. Don't travel with the same PPEs because those PPE may be infected and those PPEs may have the bloodborne pathogens. Even if you will touch somewhere, these bloodborne particles will live there, and even after 7 days, they have the chances that that can infect the other people also. Only disinfect or dispose of used PPE, and wherever you are disposing, that container should be properly labeled that biohazard. Wash hands immediately after removing PPE. Gloves. Gloves should be made of hypoallergenic rubber or other water impervious material whenever you are using the gloves. Inspect gloves before use. Double gloving can provide an additional layer of protection. Gloves, if you have cuts or sores on your hands, you should cover these with a bandage or similar protection as an additional protection before donning your gloves. And don't touch the outside of the used gloves. Goggles, face shields, and aprons. Use goggles if there is a risk of splashing or vaporization of contaminated fluids. Face shields provide additional face protection for the nose and mouth, and aprons should be used as a protection. Contaminated clothing. Remove clothing that is contaminated with blood as soon as possible. Use universal precautions when handling contaminated laundry. And place clothing in approved and labeled bags or containers. Hand washing. Hand washing is one of the most important practices used to prevent transmission of bloodborne pathogens. Wash hands or other exposed skin thoroughly as soon as possible following an exposure incident. Use antibacterial soap and don't use harsh abrasive soap. Now, what are the hygiene rules? If you are working in an area where there is a reasonably likelihood of exposure, you should never eat, drink, smoke, apply cosmetics, and handle contact lenses also. If you are working in any laundry or your employees, you are working in any laundry business. So these are the laundry business also high risk because if you are receiving any laundry from the hospital, any laundry from the medical care centers, so you need to put the proper rules and regulations to deal with the bloodborne pathogens because your employees, they are at higher risk because as you know that any bloodborne pathogens or any type of body fluids that will remain there on the clothes even after 7 days, even after it's getting dried, there has the high chances that that can transfer to your employee's body also. That can affect your employee. So proper precaution should be implemented. Food rules: do not keep food or drink in refrigerators, freezer, shelves, cabinets, or on counter tops where blood or potentially infectious material are present. Decontamination and sterilization. All surfaces, tools, equipment, and other objects that come in contact with blood or potentially infectious materials must be decontaminated and sterilized as soon as possible. Equipment and tools must be cleaned and decontaminated before serving or being put back to the use. Solution of 5.2% sodium hypochlorite household bleach diluted between 1:10 and 1:100 with water. The standard recommendation is to use at least a quarter cup of bleach per 1 gallon of water for the decontamination to remove any bacteria or viruses. Use Lysol or some other EPA registered tuberculocidal disinfectant. Check the level of all disinfectant to make sure they meet these requirements whenever you are using these chemicals for the decontamination. The spill cleanup, how you will clean the spill. If there is an spill, there are proper procedures should be there to deal with the spill. Carefully cover the spill with proper towels or rags. Gently pour 10% of solution of bleach over the towels or rags and let sit for 10 minutes. Wear gloves to collect and dispose of waste. Precautions with needles. Whenever you are handling the needles, recap needles only with the mechanical device. Use forecaps, pliers or broom and dust and to move needles. Never break or shear needles. Needles must be disposed in labeled sharp containers. Broken glassware. Broken glassware should be sterilized with an approved disinfectant solution before it is distributed or cleaned up. Glassware that has been decontaminated may be disposed of in an appropriate sharps containers. Do not pick up broken glassware with your hands. Use mechanical devices. So summary, what we have learned so far and what we need to do. Always know what you are working with. Okay? Because as you know that there are so many industries, whether you are not aware that how you can come into contact with the bloodborne pathogens. So each and every industry you are providing the first aid. And first aid, when you are providing, there are the major chances that you can come into contact with the body fluids and bloodborne pathogens. Risk will increase when you are working, whenever your employees are working, where you are getting in, coming into contact with bloodborne pathogens, such as medical care centers, laundries, where you are receiving the laundry from the hospitals. So these are the things will increase the risk. Use proper PPE, report all suspected exposures, and don't handle sharps or broken glass with your hands. Properly dispose of pathogens, waste, PPE, and sharps, and clearly label and sign should be there. So that's all from my side regarding bloodborne pathogens. As you know that what are the industries and what are the risk hazards are there related to with the bloodborne pathogens and what are the control measures that we have to follow and what are the plan we need to develop to deal with the emergency scenarios and how to deal with them. So all the information and the guidance that I have provided you. So please follow these things to avoid any legal and any other medical complications for your employees and for yourself. So that's all from my side. So please do not forget to subscribe my channel and thanks for your support. See you in the next video.